Namaste, Pranam, Gita Dhyana. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitam Ritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatva manusandadhami Bhagavad Gite Bhavadveshinim. O Bhagavad Gita, with which Lord Narayana himself gave enlightenment to Partha, the ancient sage Vyasa included it in the Mahabharata. O Goddess, showerer of the nectar-like knowledge of non-dualism contained in your 18 chapters, O my affectionate mother, the destroyer of rebirth, I meditate upon thee. Krishna Vandana. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Son of Vasudeva, the slayer of Kansa and Chanur, extreme delight for Mother Devaki, O Lord Krishna, the supreme teacher of the universe, my salutations to you. The 18th Adhyaya of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the Moksha Sannyasa Yoga, and now Shri Krishna is going to tell something about the three factors, the three distinctions of the three entities which are required, which are involved in getting any work done. We need to have the knowledge about how to do the work. So that knowledge part, the jnana, the karma, we have to understand what activity we are going to do. That is the task itself. The task itself and the doer. So Sri Krishna is going to tell us the threefold distinction of these three, the jnana, karma and karta, based on the three gunas described by the Sankhya philosophy, as propagated by the Sankhya philosophy. And Sri Krishna told us that, hear it from me now, that jñānaṁ karma ca karata ca tridhaiva gunabhedataha. These three, jnana, karma and karta, they can be distinguished. They can be classified in the three types of gunas. Prochate guna sankhyane, as declared by the science, by the philosophy of Sankhya. And yathavat shrunu tan api. Now hear that also from me. How these three are distinguished, how these three are classified based on the three gunas. So now that aspect is coming in this 20th shloka that we are going to read today. It is starting from 20th shloka. Sarva-bhūteṣhu yenaikaṁ bhāvam avyayam īkṣhate avibhaktaṁ vibhakteṣhu jñānaṁ viddhi sāttvikam. That jnana is declared to be sattvika. That jnana is declared to be the purest of the pure, which is predominantly the sattva guna. Sarva-bhūteṣhu yenaikaṁ bhāvam avyayam īkṣhate. Sarva-bhūteṣhu, among all the beings, in all the beings, yenaikaṁ bhāvam avyayam. There is one indestructible reality in all these different beings. They are there in the creation. Now, the moment the creation comes into effect, the Prakriti gets projected. It starts creating all these beings, the human beings, the animal beings, the plant beings, the animal kingdom, the plant kingdom, the chara, achara, the moving ones, the non-moving ones, all these things, they come into existence for that matter, which is not a permanent. But in all these beings, sarva-bhūteṣhu, there is something which is indestructible, which is avyayam. In all these multitudes of creatures we have around us, including ourselves, and all these beings, there is one indestructible principle. Yenaikaṁ bhāvam. There is one reality, indestructible reality in all these unreal beings, in all these ephemeral beings, in all these beings which are coming and going. There is one thing which is indestructible. Avibhaktaṁ vibhakteṣhu. The avibhaktaṁ is the inseparate. Vibhakteṣhu, although these beings appear to be multitudinal differences, multitudinal different beings, there may be billions and trillions of beings in this creation, on this earth itself. How many human beings, how many animals, how many plants, how many moving, how many non-moving beings are there? And in all these different creations, in all these different beings, there is something avibhaktaṁ. There is something which is inseparate, which is unique, which is which cannot be, which is so common, absolutely common in all these diverse kind of multitudes of creatures. There is one thing. Avibhaktaṁ vibhakteṣhu tat jñānaṁ viddhi sāttvikam. One who realizes this. One who realizes this unity in diversity. We may be billions and billions of human beings on this earth, but there is something, one which is absolutely common for all the beings. One who understands this reality, one who understands this knowledge that there is one avyayam. There is one avyayam that is indestructible, which is the ultimate reality in all the beings. One who has this knowledge, one who understands this basic concept of knowledge, that is declared to be Sattvika knowledge. That jnana is called as Sattvika jnana. That is the ultimate, the purest of the pure knowledge one can have. And one who has understood it, one who has grasped this potent knowledge of unity in diversity, one who has grasped this ultimate knowledge, the ultimate reality of there is something common in all these diverse creatures. In all these multitudes of beings, there is something very common, which is there abiding in each and every being. One who understands this, that knowledge is termed as Sattvika knowledge. So that is how Sri Krishna is teaching us the threefold jnana, karma and the karta. So here in this shloka, Sri Krishna is talking about the jnana, and that too the purest of the pure jnana, the ultimate knowledge for that matter, the ultimate knowledge of the ultimate reality in all these diverse creation, the unity in this diversity. This is what Sri Krishna says. This knowledge is the ultimate knowledge, and that is the Sattvika knowledge. The knowledge by which the one imperishable being is seen in all existences. That knowledge, undivided in the divided, unity in the diversity, that oneness in all these multitudes of creatures, that oneness, one who knows that, that knowledge, know that knowledge to be Sattvika knowledge. The categories of Prakriti have divided themselves into multitudinous. This creation is mind-boggling for that matter. So many variations, so many differences, so many distinctions, different types of animals, different types of human beings, different types of plants, and different types of creatures altogether. But there is something very common to all of these creatures. And the knowledge which tells us what is that common, and the knowledge which convinces us about this unity in diversity, that is the Sattvika knowledge. The movable and the immovable, sentient and the insentient, all these are the modifications of the nature or the Maya. And this imperishable being is the substratum behind these manifold existences. That imperishable, that avyaya, that akshara, that one paramatma, paramapurusha. That is the one common element to all these diverse creatures, all these diverse beings, the multitudes of beings, billions and billions of beings in this creation. But that avyaya, and there is one avibhaktaṁ, which is there in this vibhakteṣhu, in all these different types of people. There is one thing which is undivided, which is so very common. Avibhaktaṁ, that is not separate from the physical existences of these bodies as such. So there is one avyayam, there is one avibhaktaṁ. That one who understands, that knowledge is considered to be the Sattvika knowledge. It is one without a second. So we see all these different personalities, we see all these different kind of names and forms for that matter. But there is one which is absolutely one without a second. There may be hundreds, millions and trillions of existences, but there is one which is undivided, which is imperishable, which is common to all the creatures. It is undivided like akasha, the space. Space is undivided. We may construct walls and say, this is my room, this is my space, but does it really exist, my space? The wall is so temporary, any crack in the wall and the space is opened up. So the space as such is indestructible. The space as such cannot be divided. It is avibhaktaṁ. It cannot be divided, the space. We may create partitions and the walls and all these things, but that doesn't mean that doesn't keep the space bound within that room or within that area. So like akasha is undivided, there is one entity which is undivided, which is imperishable, that is existing in all the creatures. The akasha undergoes no modification. Even constructing walls, it doesn't modify the akasha. It doesn't limit the akasha. And in the same way, although the prakriti has got projected from that ultimate purusha, the parama purusha, that prakriti although emanates from that parama purusha, there is no change in the parama purusha. That parama purusha is indestructible. That parama purusha is undivided. That parama purusha, that paramatman, that brahman, Satchidananda Brahman remains unaffected. That is infinite as it is. No change is possible in the paramatman. Nothing can be added to it. Nothing can be subtracted from it because it is imperishable. We cannot create walls, in the and say, this is my Paramatman, that is their Paramatman. No, Paramatman is common for all. And whichever form of being is that, whichever being is that, whichever name and form that being is recognized as, each and every being has the same connection with the Paramatman. It does not divide itself into different atmas in different things. Now, okay, for practical purposes, okay, I am carrying a jivatman in me, you are carrying a jivatman in you. Now, is this jivatman different from your jivatman? No way. Because it has got projected from the Paramatman itself. They cannot be different. They cannot be divided as such. It is just, okay, in this body, it is lying in this form, in this physical form of the body, it is contained in. In your case, in your body, that same jivatman is contained in. It is one and the same thing. There is no difference. And one who understands this ultimate reality, that what is there in me is also there in you. There is no difference in that. Difference is only in the physic. Difference is only in the name and form. And what is this name and form after all? This name and form is kshaya. It is perishable. Today it is there. Tomorrow it may not be there. Tomorrow it will be in some other new name and form. Tomorrow it may not be in the human form also. It may be in some dog or cat or some other insect or some other plant form. We don't know. But the one which is there, that is indestructible. And since that is indestructible, since that cannot be divided, whatever there is in me, the same that is in you also. The same that is in all of us. The same that is in all the creatures of this universe. That is the unity in diversity. That is the avibhaktaṁ vibhakteṣhu. That is what Sri Krishna is teaching about that knowledge. And that knowledge is the ultimate knowledge. That knowledge is the Sattvika knowledge. So Sri Krishna tells us about that great being as it is, which is known. That knowledge is the Sattvika knowledge. And one should have that understanding. Once we have that perfect understanding, that ultimate understanding, all the differences, they just get eliminated. There is no difference between me and you. Difference is there only in the physical form, in the name, in the structure, and all these things, which is perishable. But the one which is there in us, the one which is imperishable, the one which cannot be divided, that is the same in all the beings, irrespective of whichever species, genus that being may belong to. Everything in this Prakriti has the same undivided principle, the same imperishable principle, and Sri Krishna says that ultimate knowledge. Because that just wipes out all the differences. That knowledge wipes out. I am so and so, you are so and so. I am superior, you are inferior. I am okay, you are not okay. All those differences are gone. Then it is only the knowledge of the imperishable. Then it is the knowledge of the indivisible. Then it is the knowledge of the Paramatman, the Paramapurusha, the Satchidananda Brahma, and that is the Sattvika knowledge. Now what Sri Ramakrishna has to say on this? Sri Ramakrishna says, though the air carries fragrance and foul smell alike, it is not affected by them. Again, Sri Ramakrishna's a very favorite example of explaining the oneness of this Akhanda Satchidananda Brahma, Akshara Satchidananda Brahma. The air, it carries both lovely smell and it also carries foul smell. But does air get affected by it? Air by itself, it does not have, it is carrying that odor, fine. It is just carrier, like this body. But the air is no way affected. Such is even the case with the Paramatman, the basis of the varying universe. All these diverse creations that we see, diverse creations among the creation, the Paramatman remains the same. The creatures may be looking different, creatures may be looking diverse. So many billions and trillions of creatures in this creation. But that one principle, the one indestructible, imperishable, indivisible Paramatman, that is residing same in all the creatures that they are around in this creation. Creatures may come and go, Paramatman can never come and go. So that one principle, that knowledge which teaches us about this principle, that is the Sattvika knowledge. So this is what Sri Krishna teaches us about the threefold distinction between the knowledge itself. So that knowledge is Sattvika knowledge, which tells us about this unity in diversity, which tells us about this oneness in all these multitudes. And that oneness is indivisible, indestructible Paramatman, which is the ultimate reality. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Sri Ramakrishna. Jai Thakur. Jai Ma. Jai Swamiji.